74,000 annual collisions involve deers and motor vehicles in the UK, and I feel like not many people talk about it because, I don't know, for some whatever reason it never happened to them. Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to a new vlog. We're just heading onto the M1, and I wanted to talk about something that not many people talk about in the UK, and this thing happened to me a couple of days ago. I was riding on the A5, getting back home from Toaster, and a deer jumped in front of me. Now my camera I didn't have my camera with me to film it, but it really shook me, to be honest, because I was very close to hitting it. So I wasn't going very slow, and probably that saved me, to be honest. Yeah, I just missed the deer by an inch, and luckily it was only one. I was riding, there was no cars on the road.
Oh shit, a fucking deer!
So yeah, there was no cars, nothing. And I didn't even have time, it happened so fast. I didn't really have a lot of time to brake. The only thing I did was to brace myself for the impact, because I was almost sure I'm gonna hit it. I did some research, and apparently there is 64,000 annual crashes that involve a motor vehicle and a deer in the UK. So that's quite a high number. In the UK we have about 4 types of deers. I'm not sure what deer this one was, but I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see anyways. It was fairly big, and I'm sure that if I had crashed it, there would have been a high chance for me to go down, and probably for the bike to be smashed to bits, to be honest. Because at 70-80 miles an hour they can do a lot of damage. I'd just like to share 5 tips for riding a bit more deer aware, because it can happen to you. I know we all say it's not going to happen to me, but it can happen to anyone, so you just have to be unlucky. The first tip is, if you ever see a deer crossing the road, expect others as well, because deers tend to travel like in herds. So a lot of times it won't be just one deer, it will be multiple deers, and if you miss the first one, there's a high chance that you'll crash into the second or the third one. So if you see a deer, slow down immediately, and hopefully you won't crash any of them. Slowing down is also a big factor. Just reduce the throttle and slow down, even to a stop. If the deer is in the middle of the road, like, they tend to do that, especially at night when they see car headlights. They will stop, so you can use the horn or whatever just to get the deer out of the way. And then tip number 2, which is quite an obvious one, but many people ignore it. It's the watch out for deer sign. So signs are there for a reason, and the watch out for deer signs are usually in areas where multiple deers can be spotted, or it's quite a common place for deers to cross the road. If you see any of these signs, it's good to be a bit more conservative with your throttle. I know that usually these signs have a tendency to be in quite nice places to ride motorcycles, like good roads and that sort of stuff, but it's also good to be aware of the fact that there might be deers crossing or whatever, so just adapt your speed to the conditions of your surroundings, basically. And then tip number 3 is forests. So if you ride near a forest, or you're passing through a forest, if there's a road, nice winding road through a forest, also be aware that there might be some deer, because deers usually live in woods, so it's more rare in the UK for them to live in places where there are no trees, because they can hide, even though there are no predators for them to hide from. It's in their instinct to do that, so it's best to be aware that in forests you can sometimes encounter a deer. And then number 4, deers tend to be more active when the sun settles or at dusk, so anything between 5 and 7 a.m. and probably 6 to 9 p.m. So if you're traveling in a forest road or whatever at those times, so very early in the morning or later in the evening, be aware that there might be some deers that will cross the road, especially if you're riding like on a B road, because you won't see them on the motorways because it's too noisy for them and it scares them away. But if you're riding on a quiet B road on a Friday evening or morning or Saturday, whatever, there's quite a high chance, to be honest, at those times to encounter deers. I've seen them, not with a bike, but I used to commute for work and do it quite at very early hours, and there was a place where I can almost every morning see deers at 6 a.m. but never see any of them at 5 p.m. And this I only realized recently when I had that encounter with a deer, but they usually don't like noise, so you won't find them on busy places. And then tip number 5, obviously a no-brainer, but use your gear, because gear in these situations can actually save your life and potentially reduce a lot of the injuries. So make sure you've got a helmet. In the UK is mandatory anyway, so most people will have it, but make sure you've got a jacket, jeans or leather trousers, your boots and gloves, because they can make a big difference in an impact with an animal like a deer. And I know I said I've got 5 tips for you, but I've actually got 6, because this one's quite important, and I left it at the end. Do not swerve. So the most important thing is, if you feel like you're gonna have an impact with the deer, just brace for the impact and brake. If you're in the turn, it's gonna be a bit more difficult for you, but make sure the bike is straight and slam on them brakes. Obviously, if you have ABS, if you don't have ABS, you have to be a bit more sensible about it, but yeah, brake as hard as you can, like an emergency brake, until you stop. And also, in case you hit the deer and you're fine, the bike is fine, don't go anywhere near to it, because they usually carry like diseases and they can also harm you. Like because you don't know how bad they hurt, and it's a wild animal at the end of the day. So the best thing is to just call like the local authorities or whatever. And obviously if you're hurt, you'll need to call an ambulance. That's a no-brainer. Yeah, I just hope you find this helpful. I know it's not a very common thing that people talk about in the UK, but yeah, just adapt your speed when you ride on B roads, because yeah, I've had multiple encounters I had like foxes, pheasants, rabbits, squirrels, and now a deer. So make sure you take care and ride safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.